once again, the sheer amount of talent, the sheer amount of intensity over here, and high level fandom, it's just next level. So I came prepared for the evening of Tolkien with my Gryffindor cap, and then I realized that Daniel Gova is actually will read them. So, in no particular order to let you know who's who in the zoo over here with the chimps tonight. Okay, so we've got Paul Limjemko, we've got Daniel Gova, we've got Nathan Phillips, we've got Mike Ruth, we've got Stefan. Now, this man over here, he's new to our segment over here, right? So, we're going to introduce him a little later. We're going to hear a little bit more about him. We've got on the back end, we've got Quizmaster Cal, we've got Robo Robbie, and we've got Sensational Steve as well. Right now, a little later this evening, we have a surprise coming up for you. I can't tell you what it is because I don't know either. So at any given point, that's just going to be like, surprise, and then it will happen. But we are also expecting our boy Tony Moy, right, the Moy man, right, to join us. And I want to just go around real quick.
There you go. There you go. He's connecting.
Is he here? Okay.
He's
if you speak of the devil, he will arrive. Tony Moy connecting in now. Okay, so what's going to happen this evening? Over the next 2 hours, we are going to invite fans to shoot the breeze with us. We're going to be talking over here, discussing all things Tolkien, some fan theories, things that we were happy with, things that we were unhappy with, and all getting properly schooled by Daniel, because that's how we could roll. And we're going to share with you some of our art. Now, just remember that all of this art will be available for purchase via the artists themselves. So what we want you guys to do, show your love, show your support, check out all the stuff, follow all of them on their various socials, and you can have the opportunity to own some amazing art. Pat, have I covered everything?
Yeah, you've covered pretty much everything. It's exactly like you said. The art will be purchased or can be purchased from the artist directly. And I think let's just run through the list and see what everybody is sketching tonight. Paul, let's start with you. What are you doing, man?
I'm working on drawing as Daniel informed me, Witch King of Angmar. Is that right?
Angmar, yeah.
Angmar, yeah. So there's the
I will
head.
help
That will be a
with
sword.
pronunciations.
Yeah, please. You're like the trivia king.
That's fantastic. And Dan, what are you? You're up next. What you doing?
I don't know. I put up a poll. I'm probably gonna quickly start working on it, but it's either Ithilien versus Gothmog, Bjorn from The Hobbit, or possibly Smaug. So which of those three is something you would want me to do? Either Ithilien versus Balrog from the Sill, or
I'm actually a very big Bjorn fan.
Yeah.
I really dig him, and I think that was a nice element that that they brought into the books. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. Okay.
All right. I think that's what I'm gonna do.
In that moment, you could see who read the books, who watched the movies. Because I'm like, the only name I recognized there was Balrog, and then they were talking about Ithilien or something. I'm like, is that a Pokemon? Are we doing like a crossover? Did I miss the memo?
Hi guys.
So,
Hey Tony.
It's Tony.
Hey Tony.
What's up, man?
How's
What
it
are you
going?
drawing, Tony?
I am going to be doing some stone trolls.
Oh, that's gonna be
Nice.
fast.
Just to get back to what you said, Zaid, I didn't even necessarily enjoy Bjorn in the movies, but you know what? In the books, he's pretty incredible.
Who was Bjorn? Like, I still don't know who that is.
Bjorn was the shapeshifter from The Hobbit who turned into a massive bear.
Yeah.
Oh, the bear, brah. Okay, no. Okay, wait.
So
Were you happy with how they handled him in The Hobbit? I haven't seen The Hobbit. I imagine
I
he
thought it
shows
was
up in it.
great, actually. Yeah,
Yeah?
They did a good job with him. He's one of the
Awesome.
few that I actually wasn't terribly disappointed by.
Oh, okay.
From The
That's
Hobbit.
good. That's good.
Yeah, I think my biggest gripe with The Hobbit was all the inserted stuff that was definitely not in the book.
Oh, yeah.
Like all the elf
Really?
stuff was like, really? Come on. They just did it to make it longer.
Yeah, three
And
movies.
to have the girls watch the movie.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, yeah. Anything you put Orlando Bloom in, right?
Well, no, and the elves were were kind of like appealing to the demographic, the female demographic. That's for sure. With what's the guy who played in Guardians of the Galaxy? Patchy.
I don't know.
Patchy. The guy who played.
Yeah. You're talking about the Thranduil. Yeah.
Yeah. They picked guys that were pretty good looking, so they knew that it would appeal to.
Well, and then there's Evangeline Lilly.
Yeah. Which I'm not going to say anything negative about her in any way, shape, or form, especially form. But
I have a pet peeve. I have a pet peeve with what's his name? Oh, jeez. The young version of the Hobbit.
Martin Freeman.
No,
the
Martin
young
Freeman.
version.
Martin Freeman?
in the Lord of the Rings movie.
You're talking about Frodo?
Yeah. So sorry. Yeah, Frodo. Oh my God, he looked like he was whining and sorry for himself the whole movie through. It was annoying until the end when he's on his bed and he's recovering and all his friends are around him. It's like you just want to slap him in the face.
Nate, what are you going to draw for us today?
Well, I'll be the fanboy and please the Dark Lord and do a little bit of a Sauron, couple of sketches, maybe get one that be like that design ready.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
And you, Mike, what are you doing?
I'll be honest with you. I think I'm just going to keep it simple this time, and I'm going to do a nice little kind of vignette shot of Gollum reaching for the ring, and just a little, like a little, like it would be a spot illustration in a book or something,
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's great.
Yeah, just something simple.
The uncouth Ruth is here. Ruth,
I was gonna.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was gonna draw the Beorn, but to be honest with you. But to be honest with you, I spend a lot of time drawing werebears as my day job, so I thought I'd give myself a rest today, and it seemed almost too obvious to draw Beorn. But I do love the character, and I kind of want to see The Hobbit now, if only to see him, because I've always loved the character from the book. But I've never seen the movies because I couldn't understand how they made The Hobbit into 3 movies. I mean, I kind of do because it's a very dense little book, but by scale, Lord of the Rings should have been about 15 movies then, I guess.
Right.
But anyway.
Well, they are making it at series, right?
Yeah,
I don't know how.
Yeah, the Amazon one, yeah.
So
I'm not really sure why.
Yeah.
because they can.
And then we've one of the newest talent to join us here on the sketch lesson is Stefan Roux. Stefan, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you
today.
for having me. Hi guys, that was really nice. I was looking forward to that.
It's an absolute pleasure. Yeah.
What are you doing, man?
Well, it's a good thing you dropped the Ectalion of the Fountain fighting the Balrog, because that's what I'm gonna do.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Oh, you're killing me right now.
Why?
Oh no, I'm so happy.
Well, don't hold your horses, because I'm gonna mess it up.
No, I find that hard to believe.
Yeah, but you messing things up is like
that's my great day.
Oh, come on.
anyone
Happy
else
accidents.
Come on. I haven't recovered yet, Tony. I haven't recovered yet from your Gambit, which is a character I don't particularly like, as you know. And you should check Tony's page, where whatever social media he posts in, because he did recently a Gambit that's just wow, a mix of watercolors and ink line, and that was just gorgeous.
Let me also say hi to NA13IL, Flamer28, Jack's Cosplay, and Chris2 Knuckles. Thanks, guys, for joining us. More people are coming in. We're obviously live on Twitch, and we hope that the fans enjoy this session. So, Zaid, what have you been up to, man? How's January treating you?
You know what, Pat? I'm not gonna lie. I started out January with trying to pull my stomach back up into my chest, and it hasn't really been going all that well because COVID stress and all of that. But I'm happy to be here with all the chimps, because this year I absolutely want to be able to fit into some of that chimp merchandise. You can't see Paul at the moment, right? Because he's hard at work today, but he's got this sexy top. Very fetching indeed.
Does that mean I have to change my camera? Is that my cue?
There was a cue. That's how we get the likes, Paul. That's how we get the likes. That's what all the likes are for, That's how we get the likes. Yeah, that's how we get the likes. But no, man, it's been crazy. Yes, man. Oh yeah. Who do you think you are?
Okay.
So we'll obviously be in full force as soon as we're able to do conventions again, when the chimps will actually be at those conventions. So I mean, obviously, I think the first convention that we're looking forward to is Comic-Con Africa, which we've partnered with, and they are hosting us. every month. So we're very grateful for what they're doing. And Comic-Con Africa will be the first convention I reckon that we will be able to attend. I know Repop's planning a convention, I think in August, if I'm not mistaken. And then obviously we'll have New York Comic Con in October. And then the first 2 weeks in December will be doing C2E2 and Emerald City Comic Con. When I'm not too sure if we'll be at the December ones because it's extremely cold there in Chicago. Hey Tony, I mean, what do you think is going to happen with the convention being in December?
Usually, so this year in December it was actually pretty okay. A balmy 40-50 degrees Fahrenheit or so. Like right now though, we're expecting about 6 to 10 inches of snow some point during the day today. So it's like usually the bigger snows happen in January, so hopefully it'll be a little bit more temperate for you guys, but if not, I'll just laugh at all of you and
Well,
I like the cold weather, so I'm fine.
We're currently experiencing a tropical storm on this side, so it's actually been extremely hot here. And then from today, it's just been literally raining.
Oh wow!
You see the problem with these guys. Pat, you see the challenge is these guys don't understand the African summer. You see, like they don't understand that we are not meant for those kind of Chicago temperatures. This is not what the good Lord intended for us. He's just out here misleading us like, oh yeah, no, I like the cold. Brah. You know what? I can't even explain to him the temperature over here because they use Fahrenheit. I don't know how Fahrenheit works. I only know Celsius.
Is it
Fahrenheit?
like
That's like a perfume or something or what?
It's bad.
Yeah, it is. It is a cologne. It is a cologne, guys. You ask the French. Fahrenheit is a cologne. Yeah.
You see. That's about our extent of Fahrenheit. But Chicago's the coldest that I've ever been, and I mean that wind just cuts through those buildings. Yeah. It's crazy. But in typical South African style, Stephen will tell you the guys were making jokes with me because I was wearing shorts and fellies with a jacket. So yeah, that's a South African thing. So because is
it warm and humid in South Africa?
Yeah.
It depends on where you are. Like if you think about it, so there's basically 3 zones. Think of it this way, right? There's Cape Town, there's Durban, and there's Johannesburg, right? So in Durban, it is like the tropical subcontinent of India. That's why all my people went there and got lost, And it is hot as. See, okay, wait. Is this a family? Is this a family broadcast? Are we allowed to?
Probably is.
Broadcast? Okay. So it's hot as Hottentots, I think. No, that's not going to work either because no one knows what that means. It's bloody hot down in Durban, right? Cape
Town, is it dry heat or is it humid?
It is so, the air is so thick and dense there. It looks like Mike Root's beard.
That's the worst. The humidity is what makes it the worst. I think I don't mind dry heat.
Yeah, we've got dry heat in Gauteng where we're at, and that's fine. I mean, we've got actually pretty cool weather, and where Cape Town is extremely windy. Yeah. It's and I mean, and it just depends on where you go. And I mean, Western Cape, there's extreme tropical weather. So it changes by the hour. So,
I'm just taking notes for the time I'll come to a convention in South Africa to see where one of my options are.
Don't worry, everything is cheaper. Everything is cheap here. Everything is cheap here. Like with $1, you can buy like a whole new wardrobe. Okay, sorry, with $3 because our currency is getting strong now. So
just bring paper. Just bring paper in your luggage, and you'll buy your clothes over there.
Just bring yourself. Don't worry. Just bring yourself. That's all you need. Just yourself. Everything else, it's cheap over here. You don't worry.
So I think I've asked Daniel this question before, but Dan, what's your favorite character from Tolkien, if you have one?
Yeah, well, Stefan is a punk and is actually drawing my favorite character.
Oh, really? Then I'm gonna outdo myself so I can
Excellion, that battle in the Silmarillion was easily my favorite of the scenes. And it's short. It's not really described terribly well because it was made by it was like taken from notes from Tolkien, and his son Christopher published it. So it's not as flourished or well defined as the Lord of the Rings or the Hobbit were. But yeah, Ecthelion versus Gothmog the Balrog. It's basically the same scene as Gandalf versus the Balrog. It's a very similar showdown, and they ultimately fell together. But instead of falling off of the mountain, they fell into the fountain, and both of them drowned. So he was forever known as Ecthelion of the Fountain.
Okay. Well, that's pretty epic.
He defeated the Balrog by using the top of his helmet. He lost his sword, so he ended up taking the point or the spike that was on the top of his helmet and stabbing the Balrog in the chest with it.
Gothmog was like the king of the.
He was the lord of the Balrogs. Yeah. Well, he was the lord of the Balrogs. He was the primary Balrog.
Right.
So I think the nice thing for me, and I mean Lord of the Rings is actually pretty old in terms of the movies. At this stage, I remember just literally walking to the theater, being able to go and watch that. And what I really enjoyed about what Peter Jackson did with everything is that it felt real. It felt like it could have been part of history, and that's what I really enjoyed about especially that first movie. Is how pretty well, how well it was done.
Yeah. For me, with that first movie, like I had no context of what the Lord of the Rings was, what Tolkien was, and all of that stuff. And if memory serves, the movie ends with Gandalf dying, and then they're coming out of that area, and like the orcs start like chasing them, and the movie just ends, and it's like wait, what happened, and so it really I think I pity people now because they'll never get to experience that, but that's the real feeling of wait, what happened, that was just magical, that was magical for me.
Yeah, I watched Lord of the Rings with my sister. I knew nothing about it, and the end of the movie comes. I'm like, wait, where's the rest of the movie?
Exactly.
like oh, and then I bought the books right after.
Wait, a year later.
Yeah, it was kind of a sucker punch.
Yeah. But I mean, it makes sense if I read the book earlier. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, I mean, now I feel really, really uncultured because it wasn't until much later that, I found out that there was actually a book series, and I was like, oh, wow, so we have to wait a whole year. And here's the funny thing about it. I grew up in this little farm town, and we literally had to travel for a good 3 hours to get to a cinema, a theater, to watch the movie. Then the movie is 3 hours, and then you gotta drive 3 hours back. So literally every time you watched, you went to go watch anything Lord of the Rings, once a year you had this whole trek, not trek, what do you say? This whole journey, this whole quest
journey
to go watch it, So
yeah, it was a big thing because nobody really watched anything that was that long. So it was almost like a journey.
Ritual.
But I mean, and now with Netflix and the series and everybody's binge watching, and things have changed. But I mean, it was cool to be part of that whole first. It's like Zaid said, you actually had to go down, and in South Africa, it wasn't necessarily always easy accessible to do that. So you actually had a group of friends that you bought your tickets and you went. So that was That is really cool. So I see here Christy Knuckles is saying Lord of the Rings for me is the closest thing to taste. Same experience explained in the Book of Revelations. Okay, that's Christy. We're very happy that you're such an intense fan. I actually know Christy very well, but yeah, but he's a good friend of my brother, and he's both massive Lord of the Rings fans. Dan, can you show us a close-up of that bear?
Oh, yeah. There we go. Guess it's not really making a whole lot of sense right now. What can we see? You guys see that?
Just random lines.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that's epic.
There you go.
So I'm going to put one of the giant eagles swooping in, and it's the Battle of Five Armies. There's going to be goblins out the wazoo down here. Some of them being like just wiped out by the bear, and he'll have arrows and everything kind of stuck all in him.
That's just epic. So NA13 ill, I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. He is yeah, I don't know, it sounds like a bad rap song, but
a little bit.
He's asking about some sketching tips and tricks. So I think if we can just focus on what Dan was doing. Dan, what goes through your mind and composition when you thought about like doing Bjorn just now? Because I mean, it was pretty impulse. We just decided that that's what you're going to draw.
I use the rule of thirds. I'm a big fan of the rule of thirds, which is breaking your piece into quadrants and having a focal point exist within one of those regions. So my focal point, I wanted to be Bjorn's face, kind of roaring and everything. That was the first thing that I did, because once I nail that, everything else kind of like comes out of that. I use a spiral to kind of figure out the movement in a piece. So focal point, and then if you spiral out from that, I want your eye to kind of play down with the arc of his arm as he's kind of swiping. There's going to be this guy in the foreground flying at you. That'll be a goblin. There'll be another one here that's facing the camera trying to run away. There'll be a whole bunch of them that are just being just swatted by Bjorn. And then there'll be a crest here that's going to have spikes and all sorts of spearheads. So you'll just get the hint of a massive crowd. This is when Bjorn was fighting a literal army. Yeah,
I mean, with that, obviously, right from the Battle of the Five Armies. So
yeah,
there's actually a very when I think about that battle specifically, before we had the movie, this is one, I don't know who did the piece, but there's this one specific piece of artwork that comes into mind that has Bjorn in the center point. I'm going to try and find out who did that, because I remember that was just really, really, really epic.
In the book, in The Hobbit, it was just really well described about how, whenever he joined the battle, it was like the tide was turned. That was like the point where you realized it was like all of Middle Earth was it was good versus bad. And he was taking a side finally.
Yeah,
it's so key. Yeah, that was such a big part of it. You always want to have the bear on your side in a fight.
Right.
But until you
always got to assume it's the opposite.
That's right.
So I want to shift the discussion over here. I want to ask a fan question, a question as a fan, So each of you now are respected artists in your own right, and obviously, a little later this video will be posted, and your various fan groups and, for respective followings will probably see this. Now, knowing that you are creating a piece of art that is actually going to become part of the Lord of the Rings mythos as a whole, are you feeling any sort of pressure, or are you just chill jamming over here? What's going through everyone's mind? Let's start with Stefan.
Well, to me, I'm not familiar that much with the universe, but it has some really universal concepts, and to that extent, some designs that became universal. So it appeals to me, and I'm pretty sure to any artist who has once had to do some research about knights in armors, dragons, quests, and such a thing. If you played Dungeon and Dragons when you were younger, if you saw the cartoon, the Black Sheep cartoon in the 70s, or if you read the book, it appeals to you on a different level. But it all comes down to what Peter Jackson and Weatherworks did, was the I want to say the Alex Ross answer to Marvel's, which is making it real.
Yeah.
And in that respect, it's fulfilling for the fans. As far as I'm concerned, like I said, it's not my go-to universe. So I had to take a good long look to find the subtleties and intricacies of the designs that would appeal to me. Because if you just overlook it, it's just it's another dragon, it's another this and that. But there are some details that are appealing, and it's more, then it becomes more of a creator's, designer's interest for me. Not so much the story, the concept. It's more, how did this guy transfer this design into a sculpt? How did he make it into a three-dimensional, realistic design? Like I said, there's a little bit of everything for everyone. Like you got the sexy elves, you got the brutish, all the Balrogs and Smoke, and then you got the knights, and then you got if you're into archery, you got the archers. The story itself, and then you got, of course, Frodo. Which, give me a gun, I'll shoot it. Yeah, this is, to me, it's more a visual interest on very specific details. Like, how did they do that? Oh yeah, I'd be interested in drawing that, and giving it a twist and trying to be. I don't know if I'll be doing something different from the movies, because I haven't seen them in a while. But I'll try to bring something a little original in it if I can.
I think it's such a phenomenal, it's such a unique take on world building, as it were. So I'd have to question somebody whose work I'm more familiar with, like Mike, on your side. What sort of thought process are you adopting as you approach this particular challenge?
I mean, I've been a fan of the material for a long time. I remember, I think I was in the 3rd or 4th grade when we had like a daily short reading session with my teacher who would read from The Hobbit, and we were just like, they gave us something all to look forward to each day. We get about 15 or 20 minutes of reading on The Hobbit, and she would just read to us, and we just kind of chill out. It was really nice. But that's a really strong memory of that story and the characters. But Lord of the Rings, I think I was mostly interested in I saw the old cartoon, of course, the Ralph Bakshi stuff, which I love it for all of its flaws as well. And I also was a big someone mentioned D&D, I remember playing 1st edition D&D and having to actually rub the white chalk into the dice, because they were just these old school. And I remember the Lord of the Rings. There was a Middle Earth role-playing game in the late 80s, early 90s that was an alternative to D&D that had a similar rule system and great critical hits and stuff. And I fell in love with the Lord of the Rings material again because that had really expansive writings on the lands, because I think I don't know. For me, I couldn't. I tried to read Lord of the Rings when I was young, but it was just way over my head. I just couldn't get into the massive volume of it, and so consuming it on smaller bite-sized pieces in write-ups and role-playing games and things like that gave me tons of information and tons of inspiration. And so I'm not. I haven't seen the movies in about, oh gosh, it's been about 10 or 15 years, I think. So I'm just kind of drawing Gollum here from just sort of my gut, just sort of trying to remember some things about him. I can't remember if he's got pointy toes or feet or anything, so it'll be some kind of inspired by Gollum kind of piece. But I would never dream to, I'd never presume to think I could add to the larger Tolkien world with my art. But I've drawn this character before. He's always lots of fun. So.
You know, guys, I actually wanna press the rest of you on the same point over there, but I've got some fan questions I need to ask. So the first thing over here was, okay, I'm gonna call him Nail13, right? Nail13 wants to know what was everyone's favorite moment from the Lord of the Rings, right? So I'm gonna call it that trilogy. You know, the standout moment for you. And then, Cal, there was a more specific question that came up. You can just pop it in our background chat for us again, so I can just read that out to everyone. So what I'm really loving about the discussion of you guys is that fans are really, really engaging. And there are two levels of engagements. There's the Zayn and Patrick level of engagement where we like, okay, basic BH level. And then, of course, there is the Mike and Daniel level. Okay, so here's the question, right? So David Smith says Exilian was badass, but can we talk about Turin Turumba and the, I missed that last part, but Turin Turumba and something, you know, so I'm not going to embarrass myself. Thanks, right, that. Look, I'm Indian and it's against my religion to pronounce some of these names, I'm sure.
You probably make your furniture float around or something.
Turin.
Exactly. I can't take that chance. My mother will disown me. Again.
Dan, are you gonna fill us in on?
No, Turin was from the Silmarillion. He was pretty awesome. He was not my cup of tea personally. He was a little too, I don't know what. I don't know. I liked like Tuor or Bjorn, or I'm sorry, not Bjorn, but Baron. I like some of the others that were in the Silmarillion a little bit more than Turin. I feel like Turin was sort of like the every hero. He was like the Hercules of the Silmarillion, is the best way to put
human?
Turin Trumbar was elf, correct? My brain is not, I don't have enough coffee. Hold on.
That was one thing I thought was pretty cool in the old. It was the different levels of humans that Tolkien discussed. Like there were different grades of human that would live. Some would live longer. Some would be stronger. Some would be naturally smarter or whatever, that kind of stuff. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah,
I don't remember that at all.
He was a man, but he was in particular there was a book that Tolkien, The Children of Hurin, which came out, I guess, oh my gosh, when did that one? It was part of what they call the Home series, or the Heroes of Middle Earth, or Histories of Middle Earth. Part of the Home series featured him pretty prominently throughout that book. There's a whole bunch of books beyond the Silmarillion, Lord of the Rings, and The Hobbit. And I would say there's probably 15 or so in the Home series, but there's only about 5 or 6 that are recognized, and then the others are all kind of obscure because they're made out of like collected pieces and notes and things like that.
So are you saying that the stories don't have as strong of a structure?
They don't. A lot of them are, I mean, they're almost like cliff notes, is the best way to put it.
They're describing the world. And
exactly. It just kind of fleshes things out more. So Children of Hurin was sort of like, if the Silmarillion was the history of the elves, Children of Hurin was the history of man, and how man came to Middle Earth. So those are kind of the two big differences. Turin is kind of mentioned in the Silmarillion, and he's in there. You know, he pops in here and there for his great deeds. In Children of Hurin, he plays like a prominent role. He's throughout that one.
Okay. And then Turambar and the Mormagil.
I'm sorry,
Who's that
who?
again?
Who was that?
Turambar and the Mormagil. I see that was the
Okay,
other,
Turin is Turin Turumbar.
Okay. Oh,
And
okay.
He killed Morg. So technically speaking, he ran his sword through Morgoth, who was like the Sauron. He was Sauron's master. He was like Sauron. While Sauron in Lord of the Rings was like a really big bad guy, he actually was a Maiar and kind of lesser. Morgoth was a Valar, and a Valar is like way above a Maiar, which is what. Yeah,
Everybody knows that.
I'm gonna total nerd out right now.
So-
in the structure of like gods and things like that, Morgoth was like a god. Is the best way to put it.
Yeah.
He was
So
like
where-
the devil, essentially. If you were to really equate it with Christianity, so.
Okay, so Nathan Phillips said, Nate wants to know, where does Vala Morghulis come in?
That's the wrong.
Yes, I do.
I'm out.
I'm just showing Nathan there. I'm just showing Nathan. Like, you know, Nate's got this tendency I've noticed, right? He's like a cool ass Jedi Pum. He just sits there quietly, you know, like just like whittles away things you forgot about. But every now and again, just gotta keep him on his toes there. You won't know where, you won't know why. But boom shakalaka, we're gonna catch you. But okay, guys, so what do we say to the assertion that George R.R. Martin is actually a better wordsmith than Tolkien ever was? What are our thoughts?
Poppycock.
Is that the general consensus?
That's the response.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Poppycock.
I've never
one
read-
person finished their work.
Is that actually a thing, Zaid? Is that actually like a
I
legit
have met
thing?
George
No.
R.R. Martin, and he is no Tolkien.
Have you met Tolkien?
I have not.
Oh.
I'm not that old. Come on.
No. You just have an old soul. You just have an old soul. That's it. In my culture, that is the highest compliment I can pay you. You know what's really, really cool, right? Is that like I can say like any shit I want, but because these guys are American and they don't know South African Indians, you know, like they would just have to like assume that it's actually a thing. You know?
I'm just gonna say. Okay.
You know, like I probably shouldn't have said that because now I've killed it. But like we don't. Pat, take over quickly, Pat.
We've got more than just Americans. I mean, we've got some Canadians and some French guys. So.
Oh no way.
Yeah. So you better watch out. You know, there's a lot more closer to home than what you would expect. How's this, Tony? Are you gonna put watercolor on that, or are you just sketching today?
Crayons.
Nice.
I actually haven't seen you do that before.
Neither have I. not since like third grade or something like that. But yes, this will be. Initially, I just wanted to do like one of the trolls, but then it kind of
Got carried away.
and now I don't know how to start. There's going to be so many different. So much depth to this. I wanted to do like the stone trolls where like nature has kind of like come back through and vines and leaves and shadows, and it looks really cool in my head. So
I get it. I mean, I remember that picture. I mean, there is it was like a
yeah.
You know, there's a lot of leaves and trees. It's almost like there's like this cave kind of effect. that they bundled up. You know,
Dude, you'll kill it.
Yeah. So, are you doing the stone rendition of them, or,
Yes.
or is that okay?
Yeah, so they will be stone, and then there will be lots of fun textures and things like that. So we'll see how this works. This will probably be one of those pieces that I just pull out every once in a while and just work a little bit on, and then so we'll see.
That's
We'll
great.
see.
I mean, if Tony has the time, Pat, because you know how Tony is a rock star now. He's just like sharing drawings with the future mayor of New York and stuff like that. I mean, some of us, some of us are out here.
I saw that. I was like, what?
I saw that.
I'm like, we're talking to topical people over here. You know, I mean, you can't just ask Tony Moy a question like that. You can't even call him Tony. You gotta address him by his full title, Tony Moy.
Or you can just call me
that's what people
Mr.
generally
Moy.
do anyways. Like,
In South Africa, they would say Moy Tony.
Yeah, nice, Tony. Okay.
Tell me, guys, who've watched the obviously Dan, I would guess you will answer yes of this, but the animated movie. I see David Smith is asking about what is your experience? About the animated movie, because he says, you know, it was both terrible and amazing, and it haunts his dream with this weirdness.
It haunts a lot of people's dreams. For me, I was just like, I like parts of it. And then I hate other parts of it. The Ralph Bakshi is what he's referring to, correct?
Yeah.
The Bakshi stuff. I mean, I don't know. Return of the King was like a nightmare. Every time I watch it, I'm just like, why did he do that?
Is this the old one?
Yeah. It just wasn't for me. I liked. There were parts where I'm just like, oh, that's kind of cool, but
how old were you when you saw it?
Oh, see, I saw it the first time when I was really little, and it was like, it gave me kind of nightmares, honestly. There were parts that were just, it's like everybody was, they were doing rotoscoping, but what they did was just film a person running in like a costume, but they silhouetted them. So it was like, what? Like, are they being attacked by shadows? I don't understand this.
They used a lot of war footage for that too. They rotoscoped a bunch of war footage, which it was a little crazy. Like,
wow.
Yeah.
How long is the movie?
I remember watching that the first time I was like 10 years old. Fucking freaked my brain out.
Oh, it's a fever dream, man. It's a total fever dream.
It totally scared the crap out of me the first time.
Those horses, dude, those horses were way too real to be drawn.
So it somehow achieved its goal, you know?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I'll give it that. But on the other hand, looking at it recently, I was just like, man, this is terrible.
No.
But even now, I was watching Lord of the Rings again in December, and obviously, I think it's just obviously an ever-changing thing when you look at the animation and everything that or the graphics that they did there in the CGI. You can pick up small little things. When back when it first came out, you didn't pick up on it, but obviously as technology changes, you pick up on some small issues or some things that look pretty weird, but it's still an incredible movie.
If I remember well, the last of the Lord of the Ring, is it the
Return of the King?
Return of the King, yeah. I don't want to say it was kind of rushed, but I think there were, just as the movie came out, there were some complaints about the fact that the big battle at the end with the oversized elephants and stuff was a little half-assed. That you could see there was not so much refined CGI.
Oh, huh.
Yeah.
Really?
But I mean, I don't know. I can't. I'm biased because from an animator's point of view, this is the kind of stuff that I will pick right away. So
Okay, so we didn't have internet at the time here in Africa. So, we probably missed that entire.
Fucking lying.
We probably missed the memes.
We still had that dial-in tone. Do you remember that?
We were.
yeah, but you know what? You know when elephants are real or not.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
We know real elephants, man. We know real elephants. Like the.
Yeah, but they were olifants.
That's
right.
Oh, that's why it's okay to. That's why it's
But
okay
Go-
to mess them up
but Gollum
CGI
was-
wise.
Gollum was still outstanding.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that was done
like-
very well for the time.
Yeah. So
But also, if you go look at some of those scenes, you can see he's like floating on top of the water where he's splashing in it, where he's supposed to be splashing it. That's very weird.
I think they picked and chose like the scenes that they really wanted.
Yeah, they had to.
Oh, yeah.
To spend the money on. That's like every movie, there.
Yeah.
They always
Like the
have
one
that.
scene
You
in
choose your battles.
Yeah, I suppose. The one scene they did in I think it's The Hobbit, where they all get into the kitchen and they make food and stuff, where Gandalf is huge and they are small, and so that had to be done twice.
Yep.
So they shot the scene in a full-size scene where the guys would sit in the dwarfs now, and then they shot another one where Gandalf was in a miniature scene. And then they matched up that camera angles and the camera movement everywhere. So it's almost flawless. There's one part where you can see Gandalf's hand go like slightly through someone's head. But other than that, go try and spot the difference. It's done so well. There's so little CGI actually done except for the moving parts. But
Which scene are we talking about?
the one where they sing that song and clean the dishes and stuff and eat all these
Oh,
cheese.
oh.
With the Hobbit.
Yeah,
With the
see-
Hobbit.
Yeah, see though,
in The Hobbit.
from a directing standpoint, from a staging standpoint, this scene,
I
'cause,
heard that Ian McKellen hated it. He was gonna
You know-
cry and quit.
in a previous life, I was doing a lot of storyboards for movies, TV shows,
Yeah.
animated shows, and stuff. This scene is way too long, way too messy. It's a testament for look what we can achieve with a floating camera connected to the
Yes.
computer. It's overkill and it's boring as hell. It's too
Yeah,
much is
I
happening.
agree with that.
It's completely gratuitous. It's just bragging about, showing off, and it
It's a
doesn't,
circle jerk.
story-wise, it's not interesting. That's sad because I mean, the no matter what the technique, whether it's the Bakshi movie or the Peter Jackson movies, at the end of the day, what matters is did the storytelling, did the staging leave in the 35-year-old, 15-year-old, 12-year-old, 60-year-old, did it leave enough striking images that made you enjoy the movie? It's not so much. It's not so much about, this scene in particular in the house looks to me like, no offense, my American friends, but it looks like an American birthday cake with all the colors. With all the colors,
French birthday cakes.
with all the fondant colors, the green, the pink, the yellow, the Little Mermaid, the Frozen characters, the genie and stuff, and so what? It's just sugar at the end of the day. There's no particular
Says
flavor.
the French baker over here.
Of course.
I was just gonna say you're from France, right?
Oh, yeah, that's good.
Represent.
That's right.
Wow.
Vive le
No,
bacon.
you guys should actually
Patisserie.
don't follow
Vive le
Stefan.
bacon.
You got to check out his like some of the stuff he's baked before. It's
Okay, just two things. Okay, Pat, just put one thing over there. Right? I think that when this man comes to visit us over here in South Africa, we should host a special panel, right? We should host a special panel where we bake a cake, right? It can take
Baking with
have
Stefan
to call it
Root.
second breakfast.
Yeah.
We can actually host something on the Comic-Con stage. We can.
Yeah. Bring
Make some
everyone's
holidays.
grandmothers.
No. It has to be in my panel room, so then I can actually taste some. Because we have, that's a COVID risk waiting to happen. I'm doing it for his safety. Daniel, can I trouble you just to give a real quick shout out to Really Knit Things? Big fan of you. Very, very excited to see that you're already painting. So
Thank
if
you.
just give a quick shout
Hey.
out. Yeah.
For what is his name?
Really knit things.
Really knit things. Yeah.
Ah, really knit things. Hey, how's it going?
Okay, then there's another
Appreciate
request
it.
that's coming over here that can be focused on some of the artwork. Okay, so Pat, I think now is the right time to do another round where you ask everyone to talk you through what they're working on, how far they are, and all of that. Would that be cool, Pat? Can you do it?
Yeah, sure. From what I can see here, we focus now on Dan's piece with the painting. So, where are you now, right in the process, Dan?
I'm blocking out shadows currently. I'm basically getting the rough shape of the bear down. I've got people planned out for the carnage that he's just going to be wading through, and then I'm doing the underlighting, which is where this light purple wash is going to be coming from below. I want everything underneath the bear to be kind of illuminated, almost like a hot spot. And then everything in the foreground is going to be more, it's not going to be in shadow, but there's going to be like almost a silhouetting that happens in the foreground elements. So he's just going to be standing in the hot spot, so to speak. And then in the background here, there'll be silhouettes of I'm going to kick the eagles way into the distance that are flying in. And I might have another eagle if I can squeeze it in here. That'll just be like, picking up a couple of orcs and tossing them.
Okay, brilliant.
So,
Nate?
can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So Daniel, why did you use purple pencil instead of regular pencil?
So I use watercolor pencils. These
Right.
are, and because I'm using watercolor, I don't have to erase. It just dissolves into the piece.
Cool.
So yeah, all this purple in here, you see how it's just going to kind of disappear by the time it's done. It's kind of a way to, I don't have to erase that way.
That's fantastic.
Right.
That's
Good
great.
idea.
Nate, we haven't seen much. Are you doing a digital or a traditional piece?
I'm cheating today because it's so wet here. The paper is all fucking warpy and shit. So I am cheating a little bit and drawing digitally.
There's no
Okay,
cheating.
brilliant.
It's not cheating. It's a shortcut.
Yeah, definitely shortcut.
It's
like,
just a tool.
all in
It's just a
control.
tool.
It's all the purists out there. Eh? They always.
Sorry, guys. Before we lose the discussion, can we just focus on Nate's? Guys, I'm back in Quizmaster Cal and Robo Robbie. Can we just have a look at Nate's work over there so he can talk us through what he's doing? There we go. Thank you so much. Okay, Nate, talk us through. Okay, that is something of nightmares there. It is ghoulishly beautiful.
Sauron.
Yeah, so I want him to come out like the dark, like step out of the darkness, and then you just see this like very shiny hand.
Gauntlet.
Yeah. And then of course he's gonna have his eye on top of his head, which is not true, but I'm putting it in because it looks cool.
Dala what you must, man. Dala what you must. Okay, Pat, who we checking out next?
Okay, Paul.
I'll share my screen later, then you guys can check.
Awesome. Paul, what's happening on your side now?
All right, I'm just
that sexy fellow over there is
sketching-
hiding. He's hiding. I think I made him feel uncomfortable. I do apologize, brother. I do apologize.
I put on a sweater because of you, man. No. A turtleneck. No.
Oh, that's very cool.
Yeah. So
That is awesome.
there's that scene in Return of the King when he this isn't directly from the movie at all, but there's that one scene where when this guy,
I see it.
Witch King, when he confronts Gandalf.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, and he's like, this is my hour and stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh man, that was like one of my favorite shots from
Yeah.
the whole movie.
You
So
cannot slay me.
yeah. So I'm kind of going off of that a bit, but also making it up as I go, making up the moment.
Okay.
Very cool.
Okay. Yeah,
yeah.
that's very cool.
What medium are you using there, Paul?
Oh, it's just regular pencil. What is this? 2B, and then maybe I'll add some color with paint. But we'll see how far I get in an hour and 3 minutes.
Okay, so for what little it might be worth, and with what little I know about sketching and whatnot, the dexterity with which you are handling that pencil, because I can see you've got like various different value gradings there, and it's all with 2B. So that's why I was asking like what medium are you using. So yeah, that's some next level stuff over there.
Thank you.
Mike, what's happening on your side?
So I just, I probably will throw some watercolor on this eventually, but I'm, right now, I'm in a situation where basically all of my art supplies are kind of gone and spent, and the art stores around me are all basically stripped out, like Tuscan raiders have come and emptied the place. So, so I'm waiting on a bunch of supplies to be sent. So I'm basically kind of using old junky markers, these Pigma brush pens, but I never get rid of them because as they die, they kind of get better. Like they kind of reach their peak for different things as they're sort of finishing out. So you can get these really soft tone values just by kind of scrubbing the remaining ink out of this kind of shaggy end of the brush. And I always keep three or four of them going. I don't know if that's how visible.
I love when pens are dying.
Yeah, it's like I kind of like to give them a final song, one final mission, and very often I'll do the same thing with like pencil strands. I'll work until there's nothing left to sharpen,
I love that. I'm using that one final mission.
Yeah, one final mission, like take it on one last.
This is your day.
Yeah, this is your last song, baby. Let's sing, kind of thing. That's
make it count.
I got a suicide mission for you.
Then you go into retirement.
Come back.
Yeah.
That's brilliant, man. And
yeah,
I mean,
so I'm gonna,
I know. I mean, you're a master of that final pencil, or I mean, you did those sessions with everyday objects or objects while you're walking around, and I mean,
yeah,
you just love that stuff.
Yeah, it's fun. It's I hate seeing anything go to waste, and I every so often it's just kind of a nice reset to put down the expensive brushes and the nice things and pick up like a twig and dip it in ink and make a drawing with it, and you get a whole different experience, and you can also learn a little bit about the kinds of different effects you can get with different stuff. It sounds hilarious probably to some people, but the stems of cannabis plants are fantastic to draw with because they got like this wonderful flex to them.
How did you figure that one out?
Yeah, where could get stems of cannabis plants?
Well, it grows wild all over the place, right?
Oh,
yeah.
It's legal in Canada, so.
Yeah, it's legal in Canada. Yeah. But it just it's not hard to find, and then any kind of hemp variation, any kind of wild hemp is fine to draw with. Or I actually like drawing. I don't know if I got one here. I usually keep one around. I like drawing with a dead black-eyed Susan flower because it's a really strong stem, and the center bit has this wonderful kind of like knob of texture. Like it's just this amazing so it's great for stippling out like tonal values or just scrubbing interesting lines into a piece. So it's just fun, just a little bit different. Wish I could paint like Dan though.
You should
We all do.
No one wants to paint like this. It's like there's no rhyme or reason to how I work. Yeah. Every time I'm like, you know what? I should really have done this a different way.
Yeah.
Every single time I'm like, this was not smart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Stefan, I see you also started painting. Just talk us through what you're currently doing.
I'm just pretty much the same method that Daniel uses. I'm blocking the shadows first. I'm not there yet to putting the underlight, which is something that again you have to have a good a precise image of where you want to go to make sure you secure those underlights in the right spot. It's a mix of anticipating, preparing, and at the same time letting yourself get carried away with whatever might happen. Because sometimes you're planning to have a light source in a distinctive area, and because you either get distracted or there's too much on the plate to focus on, you you just forgot you wanted to have your light source here, and then you change your planes, and something surprisingly more interesting appears. So I'm kind of counting on that sometimes, and at the same time trying to rely on a pre-planned execution. But like Daniel said, there's always the moment where you're struggling with this area, with this surface, with this texture, and you go, oh, I should have done it this way. I should have tried this technique. It's a mix of being in a zone, anticipating, planning, getting as many tools as you think are going to fit the purpose, and also allowing yourself to be surprised by the result, and be able to surf on that wave, So there's a few basics you can't do without. You gotta know your basic method, like blocking the shadows, because the shadows in a character, what I'm doing right now is defining the shapes through shadows and therefore through light. So once you've done that, and I think Daniel will agree with me on that, once you've blocked your shadows, you've defined your details through shadows. When you put the colors, when you put the colors, when you put the colors that are supposed to be like, what color is a fire, what color is a brick wall, what color is a tunic, this is just painting by numbers almost, because the most important part is the shading.
Yeah, defining your light source and where everything kind of comes from is the hardest part. Yeah, and that's also when you know that when the image is going to work. If it works with the shading that you've placed, and it defines the lights and it defines the shapes, then you know that you can't really go wrong with, even if you don't pick the right color for a skin tone or something, it doesn't really matter, because the shading is what's going to define the ability for people to read your image.
That's just fantastic. You know what you were talking about reminded me of a while ago, Yannick Paquet. He did the short series of lighting and shadows, and I think it was like those preview magazines, but he also explained that, and he did some really cool pieces as well. But I mean, it's just watching you guys do this is just phenomenal.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. See, for example, when I'm working right now on the calf of the character, and it's the same when you ink with black ink or with a pen. If I define this, when you do the bulge of a biceps, like I'm doing here on the calf, on the muscle for the calf, I'm just suggesting the shadow of that bulging muscle over another, and that's exactly it. Transfer that into the line ink work, and you get the same. That's exactly the same when you do the bulge of a biceps, or a deltoid, or this is what you're describing. You're representing the shading of that muscle that's flexing. That's all there is.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fantastic, man. And then Tony, you also started now on your side.
Yeah, I go by luck and just cross my fingers.
Luck is usually the best part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, I love how you start, because you're on all fronts. You just pop the purples, the oranges, the yellows, and to the non-professional, that must be even more magic, because you're like, oh, how is he gonna read through all this, and then at the end it makes sense.
Yeah, so for me, I start off a lot looser than I think like Stefan or Dan does, and I just kind of go with, as long as I have 50% of my next steps kind of planned out, I just kind of go like, okay, 50%, as long as I have kind of an idea of what's going on, okay, let's do that. And then like 40% of the rest of that is like reacting. So I'm kind of giving myself with this very loose light wash in the background, just kind of setting myself up to get some fun watercolor textures in here. It's really, at this point, I can't really make a mistake. I've already gone with warm background, cool figures, and once it dries, I'll try to like find branches and find some leaves, and find some stuff, and I'll react to like the textures that are going to be created in the stone and some of the stuff over here. And then the last little bit is usually for me just a little bit of luck, you know, like, oh yeah, that actually, you know, that little white space I accidentally saved looks like another branch, it looks like another tree. So it's kind of reacting to the whole thing. And yeah. So that's kind of where I am. I'm just giving myself some tools later on. Like, I don't know exactly how this is gonna dry, but I know it's gonna be, I have some edges and shadows in here. I want some leafy shadows that are gonna be coming across the face. I do know where I kind of want the highlights, and you know, there's a little bit of crossing my fingers with going with this approach. So
we got a question in the comments of here. Really did want to know what happened to the crayons.
What happened to the crayons?
Oh yeah.
Oh well. I saw Dan and Stefan doing the watercolor, and I was like, you know, that looks fun. I'll give that a try. I'll try watercolor once in a while.
Okay, so tell you what, really, tell you what, right? What we're going to do is we're going to be doing this every month. So next month, I think what we're going to do is the challenge we're going to throw down is everyone needs to bring their Crayolas, and we're going to have crayons.
I like that. Yeah.
Pat, what are you doing, Pat? What are you doing?
Dude, I got a 5-year-old. You guys just don't even understand. I'm gonna kill.
The beat down on it.
Seriously. I do that on a daily basis. That's my Wednesday.
Yeah, no, I get that. I've got a 6 and a 8-year-old, and yeah, they're constantly stealing my supplies out of the closet, and then I'll get really expensive pens and things in the mix between their crayons, and yeah. But it's so I really and I guess you'll probably see it too, Dan. Is, you know, I really appreciate the way they think about art, and you know, how enthusiastic they are, and there's no doing anything wrong, or you know, they just explore, and sometimes these kids just come up with the most amazing pieces of work if you just let them just go, because that's definitely one of our kids favorite pastimes, is definitely just go all out. So we've got stacks and stacks of paper. Like today I was printing a lot of stuff for work, and I can't find my big box of paper, and I went into the kids' room, and they just destroyed a whole box with like probably 1,000 pieces of paper, which just they just did art. So I had to go and buy some more paper, but it's just I love the way that they just go about that.
See, now this is how I know that Pat's wife is watching, because you know, it's beautifully, you know, like.
Did you talk about the kids?
Yeah, you know, like, hey honey, I'm here, I love them. But you didn't answer the question. What are you drawing?
Me? No, I'm not doing anything right now. I decided I'll do something. I'll put something out, but
how dare you sit here?
I thought this was a jam session.
Friends.
What the heck?
Before our friends, like
I promise I'll put something out. I was thinking of doing a tree beard, but that's my promise. I'll definitely do a tree beard.
Oh my gosh!
That was my other option. I was thinking about tree beard or this. Or the stone.
Yeah, because I'm a massive Alan Lee fan as well. So I just love. I was actually looking through. I've got those sketchbooks of his, and I was just paging through them in yesterday. But I mean, I just love his work. I mean,
his Lothlorien designs were unbelievable.
Yeah, those are beautiful.
Seriously, that's some of the best stuff. He's actually what really, like, honestly, like some of his initial Lord of the Rings stuff before the movies was what really got me into, I mean, art in a nutshell.
I was about to say, think
And
that
definitely watercolor. I mean, he's a watercolor master.
like Lord of the Rings, I would say, is probably one of the first things where I read the books and had some imagery in my head, right? As a kid, you're reading it, and then realized that there's these tomes of artwork that other people had kind of created off of it versus the other way around, right? It's like, oh, there's you see the movies and then you read the book, but like this was one of the first ones as a kid where I was like, oh my God, there's this whole entire world of crazy art and people that have imagined things already. And Alan Lee was, I didn't even know what his name was. I just like, I like this guy's art. I wasn't even thinking about like artists at the time when I was a kid. This art is cool.
Yeah, I mean, one of the first, I think we had a chat about it when we did our Comic-Con Africa interview between Tony and Dan, and with Alan Lee, my first experience with him was with fairies that he did with Brian Froud. The work, it just that's really what got me into appreciating art and started drawing. I mean, some of the first sketches I did came from that book, just trying to mimic and copy what he's done, because I was so blown away by what he did. And I mean, obviously I'm a big John Howe fan as well. I love both their work, but Alan is just phenomenal.
Yeah, I definitely prefer Alan's work over Howe. I liked Howe, and Howe definitely. I mean, they did a really good job of of pairing the styles for the films with the right concept artists. I mean, putting Howe on the all the bad guy stuff was just genius, because he just excels at that stuff. And he knows it so well. I mean, he's like a sword master and an armor. Like he's actually really, really versed in like how plate mail is constructed, how it works. Like he makes his own armor. The guy's kind of amazing when it comes to that stuff.
I think that was my favorite part about those extended DVDs, is just watching the behind the scenes stuff. When he went out and he put on the armor and they had the sword fight in the parking lot, and it was just really cool.
Fun fact, my name's on those.
Oh wow!
What? Like legit.
Yeah, you can see it. In the extended ones, they have a very long credit sequence, and in the there's a special thanks at the end, and there's a gajillion names, but Daniel Govar is in there.
Wow.
Subtle flex. Just such a subtle.
And now everybody's queuing up.
I'm gonna look for it now. I'm gonna look for it now. I'll make sure to post something about that. We'll take a screenshot of it. But guys,
notice how sorry. I just need to take off with you quickly. Notice how you're busy creating extra work for yourself instead of sitting and drawing quietly like you're supposed to. I just want to call you out on that, right?
I promise. I'll draw a trivia and I'll give it to you, Zaid. I'll give it to you.
Okay. Well, just so everyone knows, I'm not all talking, no action. See, even me, I did something. See, like I also did something. Right. So if I can do it, thank you. Wait, how do you right? So if I can do it, right, Pat should absolutely do it as well.
I promise you have to forgive me. I've just been incredibly swamped. But just talking about that, I need to leave. So I'm going to leave you guys in the hands of my compadre, the main chimp, Zaid. But guys, it's been incredible hanging with you again, and I'll touch base with everybody tomorrow. And brilliant work as always. Thanks so much.
Yeah,
thanks, Patrick.
Okay, Zaid. Now it's your show.
Let's talk about it.
All right.
The time has
So
come.
what can you tell us about Patrick?
Okay.
What can't I tell you?
Well, I mean, I just need to make sure, because, like, Okay. Right. So, guys, real quick right now, I am all about promotion and stuff over here. And I just feel that seeing as you guys are investing some time in the South African audience, it is only fitting that we take at least a few minutes to talk about what everyone's working on, what everyone has coming out, and more especially where everyone can pick it up. I'm not even going to apologize for shamelessly advertising. So, swag to everyone out there. So, guys, we are going to sell stuff. We're going to sell stuff now. Who's down for it?
Nice. I want to know what Stefan's working on.
Oh, me?
Let's start there. Start there.
Wait, can Stefan tell us what he's
That's your
working
real
on?
name? But you can hint. You can hint creatively in French.
I can tell you what I'm working on right now, which is spin-off series of Vampirella.
Oh, very cool.
Dynamite. Yeah, it's I'm doing covers, which have been promoted already through the Dynamite website, and I'm doing some interior pages of what is a prologue to a story that's written by Christopher Priest.
Wow.
And so the 5 pages that I have to draw are not really connected, as far as I know, to the main story that is drawn by somebody else. And so this is what I'm doing comic book wise. I'm also working for doing some designs for some sort of credit boards or snapshots that are appearing in a TV animated show that I used to direct 15 years ago, and they're doing a 4th season now, and they asked me to do those snapshots of football teams that are appearing in the show, like football as in soccer. So they have those snapshots of the teams showing up, and they want a decent art to represent the characters. So I'm doing this. I'm also working on my own project, which I can't say much. I'm not even sure I've shown anything to Daniel.
I don't think so.
Might have seen
Maybe.
things. All I can say is
I had a sneak peek, I think.
Yeah, you have.
What?
You have.
Tony got a sneak peek? This is...
Yeah, well, he comes to visit.
Because he's friends with the mayor. He's friends with the mayor, Daniel. Yeah, you only appeared in the credits for Lord of the Rings. Tony is like, moving around with mayors and stuff. That's why.
He comes to visit, and he brings food.
Does he bring food?
Yeah.
I have.
So
I bought some churros.
It's always about the food.
So no, it's for those who are into this, and that's how old I am. It's about super robots, like the anime style, like the giant robots, like think
Gundam.
Mazinger.
Yeah.
Gundam and Robotech were real robots, which is like the next step after the super robots. The super robots were more, we don't explain that much the technology. It's either alien or magic or...
Gotcha.
Gundam was more like, we're going to try to organize this and give it a sense of realism in the fact that it's either a police force or a department in the army or in the military. So this was the next step. Like I said, Robotech, Gundam, Bubblegum Crisis to some extent. Mine is more into the OG, which is like the super big, oversized robots, one of a kind, that kind of walk the earth. And so this is what I'm developing. I'm trying to give it. It's so far from what people know of my work, comic book wise, because it's actually more back to the source of my years, my almost 20 years in animation. So I want the book to look like it's pictures taken from an animation show that never was.
Very cool.
And so the backgrounds are going to look like animation backgrounds. The characters are going to look like animation characters.
The process they have going is really cool.
Dig it.
the process that you had that you showed me was really cool. The idea.
Yeah. I'm breaking it down so I can reuse backgrounds and stuff like that. So
That's smart.
Eventually I'll be able to show some stuff, but I want to make sure that the bulk of it is done.
Yeah.
So that I can after that either focus on either a Kickstarter or something like that, you know.
Monetize it. Yeah.
Yeah, provided people are interested, and then I'll just focus on making sure everything is shipped at the right time, printed at the right time, shipped at the right time, and so on and so forth. So
Very smart.
Lots
It's
and lots
literally
and
the
lots of
worst thing
people
about
with that.
Kickstarter is making sure that all that stuff's squared away.
yeah.
Well, on that note, guys, just remember something to keep an eye out for over there, and be sure to show some love and support over there on that project over there. I'm looking forward to it. Like, Tony is being very, very coy about sharing details there, so we will wait. The rest of us norms, we will just wait for the details. But shifting focus for a second to Paul. Paul, my man, what are you doing? The last time we spoke, you were also being very, very coy about a project that you were working on. Are you in a position to share a bit more now, or are you still ducking and diving from us?
I am still ducking and diving. It's there's a lot of work for me to do on it, so I can't talk about it yet. But I am doing like a few short stories, and like painting all of it. So I'm trying to get better at doing interior art, more comfortable. So part of the thing I'm doing is working on speed, and hopefully next time we talk, I have something to talk about, or a show even.
The future is bright and full of promise. Somebody who is dipping his hand into an oven in a very, very different way from Stefan is, of course, the uncouth Ruth. So over the last couple of days, I don't know if the rest of you have been checking out his Facebook, but he's been doing some sculpting over there for some work on Dodge. Mike, how are things coming across there?
Pretty good. I'm working on the third issue of Dodge, as I'm just finishing up all the fulfillment for our Kickstarter that we had back in October, November, and still waiting to hear back from people for the request. But I had 30 paintings to do, art fulfillment paintings to do for that. Some really cool ones to do still. I'm working on the third issue, and I just wanted to, honestly, I took the weekend to kind of relax because I don't think I've had a day off since the summertime. And I haven't seen my family since the summertime because of the travel restrictions and stuff. And Erica hasn't seen her family since then. So it's been kind of a tough time here. And we're in a busy part of Ontario that's always busy because people don't understand what the word lockdown or social distancing means. Anyway, that's a separate rant. But so I spend a lot of time inside, and I'm looking forward to a decent winter of just drawing the third issue and maybe even the fourth issue of Dodge. And so the last couple of days, I decided to do a little bit of sculpting, and I got myself some Sculpey, the bakeable Sculpey. My wife bought me some because I've been just itching to sculpt some stuff, and I wanted to try to make some models or some cool little basically things that I can use in the studio, for light and shadow and things like that. Just some good reference of some of the characters in the book. This is my first attempt at it, so it's proportionately a little bit crazy. It's more like a kid's toy, but I just wanted to kind of try my hand at it. And I've sculpted before with some other things, like little headshots of I find things like this can be really handy if I sculpt a character that's in the comic book, maybe sculpt a few expressions and then have them, as a physical model that I can turn and put a light source on and get some really interesting light for when I'm drawing my comics. At least that's the theory anyway. The problem is I'm enjoying the sculpting so much that I don't actually want to I just want to make the whole book in clay now.
I hear you. This is I didn't know that we were going to talk about that kind of stuff, because I have a few things to show when everybody's done. I have some sculpting too, and I could make it exclusive news actually, because I was about to post something on my Facebook page, but I'll talk about it first here when everybody's done.
Yes,
I'm just enjoying the early excitement of finding another art form, and kind of it reminds me when I was a kid, when you finally figure out how to draw like a face or how to draw a hand or how to draw a cool whatever.
Yeah.
And you get that, you kind of lit up by it. Well, it's nice to be in my 40s and suddenly be like, I'm excited about a thing again, you know. So
This is you
a
said
nice
this was
thing.
you said this was Sculpey.
It's Sculpey, yeah. It's not. You know what? I'll be honest with you. I've tried a few different things. I found this stuff was quite soft.
Yeah,
to work
yeah.
with, and I didn't have I had a basic armature underneath, but I didn't have a good rig set up. So doing the fine details on the face meant eliminating the details I just put on the jeans, or destroying the glove that I just had perfectly sculpted. So there was a lot of back and forth. And then last night, of course, it fell over in the oven and landed on his face while the ink was while the clay was wet. So his face is just mangled. So on the spot, I had to go in with my tool and kind of. I had to this hand used to be open. I had to turn it into a fist because the fingers were just mangled. And anyway, I was able to save it. And I thought, for a first time, it wasn't such a bad little experiment. But
did you say you had a wiring inside?
Yeah, I made a aluminum wire armature, and then I padded it with a bit of tin foil.
Yeah, that's the way to go. Yeah, because the foil will heat it up from the inside too, and it'll bake more thoroughly.
Yeah, it's really solid. Like I'm actually obviously it needs refinement, but it feels also like the kind of material that I could go in now with some fine sanding tools or a file and actually detail some more stuff out. But you know what? As a rough draft, it was a good experiment, and I just want to get faster and kind of have a little bit more fun with it because I feel like having busts of the different characters in my comic will just make those days when drawing is a little bit tricky make it a little bit easier, I think,
for foreshortening and stuff.
I'm sorry.
Something to think about.
Are you going to paint it, Mike?
Yeah, I might actually get Martin from the Sketchomania show. He's a brilliant modeler, and I might actually get him to paint it, or I might make some other things and have him paint those. But he's quite good, so I might talk to him about that.
Yeah.
I'm useless painting miniatures. I'm terrible at it. I can paint on paper, okay, but
I have absolutely no doubt that you are being a bit too modest over there. Like you're just being too modest over there. But from my fledgling attempts at sculpting a little while back, I know that you get Super Sculpey Firm. It's there's another one over there, and definitely tends to hold.
Great one.
That's the one. Yeah, it holds detail a lot better, and. So it's slightly more, okay, over here in South Africa, everything is expensive, right? But I mean, out there, I think it's a lot, it's a lot easier to see. But that one there holds detail a lot more. And then what you can also do, I saw some guys doing, is that you can actually blend. So you can take a Super Sculpey Firm together with your current Sculpey, and you can mix it together to get like
medium.
to get.
I do the same thing. Cool.
Yeah. There's a thinning agent that you can blend it if it's too firm, but there's also something to consider. If you have difference in temperatures, you use the firm one in the summer and the soft one in the winter.
Yes.
If you have a winter.
Okay. Yes.
And also,
if Super Sculpey, is it a little bit more firm in terms of when you're working on it?
It's the best. It's the best of both worlds because it can be firm if you want to. But there's also something I heard about another completely different.
There's one called Monster Clay that I heard.
That's the one I use.
Monster Clay is different. Monster Clay, it's kind of like one. It's all based. You also have a red one, like a red brick one.
Oh, the DOS.
Yeah. It's oil based, so it's kind of like paraffin, if you will.
Yeah.
And this one you can keep for the longest time.
I actually bought some of that. It's great.
The only thing is that it doesn't harden, it doesn't settle. So it's for something that if you want to make mold and then cast, that's what you do. But if you want to have a one of a kind piece that you can keep, you got to get either the Fimo or Sculpey or Super Sculpey that you bake. And just then it becomes as hard as soap. Harder than soap, a little bit harder than soap.
Yeah.
And for what little it's worth, sorry, before I forget my thought, for what little it's worth, don't believe that thing about where they say that if you boil it in water, if you cook it in water, it doesn't. It doesn't.
No.
But it doesn't actually coalesce the way it's supposed to. Because like I do action figure modifications, and so I found that Super Sculpey was a nice way of doing it. And so you don't want to melt your figure, so you put it in boiling water. That works okay for that. But if you try to do like a full sculpt, don't even waste your time trying to do it there, because what happens is it starts flaking afterwards. So Lesson
No,
learned.
Zaid.
once you have baked Sculpey, your best option if you want to do add-ons is to add little details and elements with epoxy clay.
Yeah.
That's the only option.
I'm
Zaid,
excited
so
to get
on
into
your
this.
on your modifications, I'm busy with one myself. It's I'll be a sneak peek. It's for Patrick, so I'm making the new
sweet, sexy,
Oh, cool, man.
sexy.
It's
That's
still
nice.
it's still a little bit busy, so I'm also like resculpting. So I took a
Whoa.
DC Direct and I sculpted it off. Took off the ears. I remolded a little cowl.
That's rad, man. That's wicked.
It's a work in progress, but it's getting there. But
Wow.
it's a band.
Now I'm feeling a little bit embarrassed now of showing my current project, right? But it's okay. It's okay. This is a safe space. Daniel's not going to judge too much. So So I recently moved into a new place. So I was like, finding a space to display everything. And a lot of my smaller figures, like the Marvel Selects and stuff, I made these boxes, right? So it's like a box. Where do I hold it now? Can you guys see it? Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, right. So it's a box frame. So I don't know if you guys know Heroes Reborn. I think it was in the 90s.
Very
Marvel
cool.
relaunched that. So what I did was I took a Marvel Select figure and I got like a crap load of like wire and stuff, right? And I just tried
That
to
is super cool.
Can you see it? Okay, I don't know if you guys can see it, right? But it's
Yeah.
So, but unfortunately, my finishes weren't great because I did this at like 2-3 o'clock in the morning because I have insomnia and like some of the finishes inside aren't great. But this is what I've been working on, and it's a little of hot glue with lots of circuit boards and things like that there. But I think it has that chaotic Iron Man look to it, So I decided.
Zaid, we need to
Yes?
do a collab. Dude. We'll chat.
Okay. It's on like a scorn, right? It's on like a scorn. But more importantly, because let's be honest, right? Nobody came here to look at me and my action figures. I want to know, right, that Daniel, hello.
Yeah.
What are you currently working on?
Oh, right. Nothing. It's beautiful. No, I literally have I have a mountain of commissions that I'm pouring through right now. That's let's see if I have my list. I haven't opened it in a while on purpose. Beer labels, like random stuff. It's like a ransom note right now. I'm literally opening it up because I want to go through my list just because it's so people that might be watching will be like, oh, he's working on mine. Great.
Yeah, he's on it. He's on it.
There we go.
Clever.
Let's see here. He-Man and on sort of like a different take on superheroes. Actually, I think I have one of those that I'm trying to finish up this afternoon. It's getting there.
Very cool.
Still got a
Very
ways
cool.
to go, but takes place in a Chicago setting, so there's a lot of Chicago backgrounds. Let's see here. I just finished that Morbius in the Snow, and now I have another one. Hulk transformation piece. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but the old school Zuli version. Let's see, Valkyrie pieces. I have 3 or 4 of those to do.
Sure, very cool, man.
Yeah,
Very,
I mean, literally, I've gotten to the point where I don't really do work for projects anymore unless they're my own. I've kind of moved past doing things for publishers, and when I say move past, it's that I don't want to do things for publishers anymore. I kind of want to do my own published pieces and books and whatnot.
That's the
So
way
I
to
have
go.
one that's I have one on gods and goddesses that will be launching on Kickstarter later this year. And then I have another one that is a compendium of my daily sketches. And that's volume 2 of my 200-page art book. And that one should also be launching at the end of the year.
Awesome.
Those are my main things.
It just stuns me. It just stuns me how, like, just the way each of you guys, the way your brain works. Like, to juggle all of these things at once in the middle of literally the plague. You guys are all something else. So, but now, His Royal Highness, the friend of the of future mayor of New York, Tony. I'm just giving Tony shit today. Like, I'm just giving Tony. My brother from another mother. What do you have coming? What are you hard at work at now?
Well, I was going to talk to Dan about this, but Dan and I have been talking about some things.
This too.
And
I didn't want to mention it just because.
Yeah, but I'll mention it. But I think I have it laid out, and I just I have the layouts of a project that I'm working on with Dan. Just as just as preliminaries, so hopefully I can start working on that a little bit as well.
That's a fantasy anthology.
Yeah, fantasy anthology book. So, and then
Very cool.
You can't just do no.
I can't.
No, you can't just say fantasy anthology and leave it there. You need to
leave it there.
No, you can't just do that. You can't just do that. Do you know how I struggle with anxiety? Do you know how I struggle? Do you even care, Tony?
But you make it through that struggle and you come out better on the other side.
Yeah, I just realized I walked into that one, and now there is no smooth, debonair way of backing out. So in turn, I am now going to turn the spotlight once more to the man, the myth, the legend, the baker himself, Stefan. Hari, if you'd be so kind, could you take us through those? Wait, have I gotten everyone? Have I spoken about everyone's projects? Yeah, I have. Did I miss anyone? No.
I think you're good.
I think okay, thank you, man. I'm sorry. I'm not gonna lie to you guys, like, my screen here that I'm looking at with everyone on the back end, that's stuck. So the only thing I can see is like a really goofy, like, half smile of my own, which is slightly disturbing. And I'm trying to look down at the stream on my phone, but the screen is cracked, so can't really see much of it there. So I'm hoping you guys will help me out. Yeah, we are experiencing technical difficulties, gentlemen. Technical difficulties. But Stefan, if you'd be so kind, could you take us through those scalps?
Stefan, you here? You might have stepped away for a little bit.
Technical difficulties.
Okay, so which means that once again I must now remind you all of the pact that we made, that when we amass here in South Africa, we will in fact be going for bunny chows. Is everyone still in on that?
I want bunny chow.
What is
I
that?
don't even know what you're talking about.
I don't know what that is.
I
feel like you're speaking in Braille.
Wait.
I'll say yes.
Wait.
All right. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Welcome
Yes.
back.
Oh.
Welcome back. It's a slat on sin. Ooh wee. Okay, no, that is sexy.
Man.
That is sexy.
Oh, please enlarge on your screen.
Quizmaster
next
Kel,
level.
can I ask you guys just to focus on Stefan's for a second, blow it up for us?
Oh, damn, that's good.
That's super cool, man.
So that is
but-
a cosplay I've been working on.
Unbelievable.
That looks like a Jack Kirby.
I tried.
That is
No, you
Very
outstanding.
You succeeded. You
So
Very
I can,
cool. It
I
even
can
looks like Kirby.
I can
Perfect, man.
actually see through the eyes.
That's super dope. Dude.
Oh.
Speaking of Kirby, I recreated the brand of cigars that he used to smoke.
Oh my God.
Dude,
Elroy.
that's what I saw.
Oh,
Beautiful.
Always.
And this is because my hands are so clumsy when I have the full costume on. It's not done yet. I'm still working on it, but because my hands are so clumsy with 4 fingers, I put magnets in the lip
So clever.
So
ha,
it
ha.
connects right away, and I won't miss my mark.
Good idea.
I got a sword here that won't say much right now to most of you, but if you look at the little details here, that could be a hint at the style I was trying to emulate in 3 dimensions. Those little dents are a trademark of a very famous artist that actually created this character. Oh, come on.
I thought so. Yeah.
So this is another one. This is another one that I've been working on. This is all foam.
Oh dang, dude.
Dude, that is super cool.
The gun
That is crazy.
The gun was made from scratch.
Big baby.
You recognize this?
Very cool, man. Very cool.
Hey, yeah, that was my
Big
holiday
Nala,
card.
definitely Big
That
Nala.
is okay. So the gun is made of PVC pipe. I'll pull it out later.
Yes,
I'm
that's
actually
cool.
I'm actually gonna post some pictures on a new Facebook page that I'm putting together, where I'll show some of
Please,
the work
dude.
in progress and some of the
dude.
final result. The handle is 2x4 that I just worked and tooled and stuff, and then you got the, of course, you got
Wow.
the main.
Oh, so rad.
No.
me-
this
So
is-
jealous.
Let me just show you for a second. I'm sorry about the messy. Hold on.
Let me show you how to really.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so
The
you
right
see
hand of
now?
doom.
The
Oh,
right hand
man.
of doom, and the thing is, hold on, it's a little. I should have played that better. Okay, so here's the thing. There's some. Come on, guys, work with me here. There's some rings inside.
Oh, that you
Very
put your
cool.
fingers through to make it.
Wow.
So yeah, I'm.
That is
Yeah.
super cool.
That's
So
amazing.
so the fingers are. Ooh. Yeah, the fingers are.
That's quite the whammer.
Articulated. Yok.
So cool.
So the thumb. Hold on. For some reason today, of course. Yeah. See. Trying to reach the other one. Can't.
No fucking way. Okay, wait, no language. Yo.
Clever, clever.
So I can't reach the other ones. I'm sorry. It's a mess. Then you got
So
some.
none of this is made out of fondant.
It's coffee.
So then you got this one that's been in the works too for some time. Sorry, I suck at
Good, yeah. Dude, this is insanely awesome.
fun.
This is
And now
insanely
the pièce de résistance.
Oh wait,
Yes.
that was
Oh,
you haven't
the
seen anything yet.
appetizer. Ooh la la.
Oh, old Groot.
All right. So
This is one really tall dude.
I just discovered the beauty of foam clay
Yeah. Foam
yeah.
clay is the shit.
Christmas. So I thought I would do a life-size Hulk.
Do it.
That's insane.
Oh,
That's
fuck me.
absolutely insane.
That is awesome.
You're ludicrous. You're awesome.
Nuts.
So this is not going to be a cosplay per se. It's more going to be like it's actually going to be a piece that's going to be hanging on my wall.
Very cool. Like breaking
as a-
through.
Yeah, like it's breaking through the.
Okay, cool.
So
It's
there's a
great- it's
question
gonna-
coming in. There's a question coming from really nitty things. Really nitty things is roughly how heavy are these items? Like, is that a power blaster?
This is all foam. It's all EVA foam, which
Super
for
light.
those of you who are familiar, is super light. Like let me
Yeah, it's
let me
very
show you.
lightweight.
So, it's like those mats that you put in your garage, right?
Yes.
Um,
I've got
so
the same
actually,
thing.
right now, this is lighter than a tennis ball.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is all. See, this is the kind of foam you put in your garage on your floor, so that your back doesn't hurt too much.
Yes, dude. You did that so well. That is ridiculous. I'm definitely gonna give you a
That's
shout.
so cool, man.
And then I
Insane.
use I use the exact same clay, the same foam. This is all those squares, right? But then I applied that clay over it. That is the same material that when it dries out, when the water that's in it evaporates, it becomes the same texture, except you can mold it, you can sculpt it the way you want. I even did the veins on the cheeks. See, I had fun with this. The eyes.
Yeah, dude, that is super.
And then I'm gonna
super
plant.
cool.
I'm gonna start plucking hair. See, I've started here as a test.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
And then when I'm done with this, I'm helping friends. This is a flamethrower from Alien, the first Alien movie. And I was helping a friend who wanted to cosplay as such. So that was all done in one day. With only
What?
with only scraps that I could find in my garage.
Yeah.
Respect. Ooh.
I'm having a lot of fun with this. Yeah. But this one is my so far this one is my favorite.
Yeah,
You know, I'm such a fan of the thing. I really am such a fan of the thing. And I don't know if Quizmaster Cal has it for us. Like, just, you know, like everyone's in. I just love when people do the thing because there's so much of fine detail that goes into it. You know, it's such an, how can I say, such an involved character. You know, you can't half-ass it. You really have to go in there with all the details, you know. So the Uncouth one had also done a I just want to show you guys this. I don't know if Quizmaster Cal has it for us, but he was doing a series and there was this thing that he had done. So Quizmaster Cal, if you can just throw that up on screen for us, if you can. So I'm hoping you'll be able to pull that. But Stefan, that is insane. That is insane.
Yeah, that's exclusive. I was going to announce in a week or so on my Facebook page that I had made all those things for the years. And this
Beautiful.
is just an exclusive for you guys.
My friends, you have
Wow.
seen here with Artchimp and Comic Con Africa. Just remember that we are doing these segments every month in the build up to Comic Con Africa because here the fun don't stop down in Africa, people. I am so humbled and privileged to be hanging out with you guys. I mean, yeah, the fanboy is crazy right now because like what you guys create, you know, what you guys create. And what we're gonna do is while we're waiting for Quizmaster Cal to get another picture loaded up for us, I do want to cycle between everyone's screens because we've got just a little over 10 minutes left, and I just want to have a how you say
What
do you call that
minutes?
thing? Yeah, it's like time really does fly when you're enjoying yourself, you know. So what do you call it when you have like a sit rep, like you know, like where you have a snapshot of what's going on? Oh, okay, right. Thank you, guys on back end just showed me something, so thank you. Where we can have a snapshot of what everyone's doing right now, so we can just go through everyone's things. And just remember, guys, all of this artwork is available for sale. However, in order to do so, you will have to reach out to each and every one of these creators directly. Now, that implies that you have to do a couple of things. Thing number one, you need to subscribe to Comic Con Africa because that's just like shameless advertising. I got to do it. Thing number two, and probably more important, is that you are going to have to go and follow each and every one of these creators on their respective platforms. And what we're going to do is we're going to ask you guys to throw out details of there in the comments and in the description on YouTube as well, so you'll be able to follow them. Just remember that they are working on stuff. I've told you a little bit about the stuff that they're working on, but if you keep it locked and tight to each and every one of them, you will know exactly what's going on, when it's going on, and more especially how to access it. Okay, so let us start. Quizmaster Cal, I'll leave it to you. You show us on the screen in no particular order what we can expect, what we're seeing over here. And I just realized that there's a slight delay between what I am seeing on screen and what's happening on your screen. So just bear with me over there. But guys, I think what we should do is we should start looking at a poll of what we should be discussing next month, because you guys have set the bar very, very high. And I would really be grateful if you could talk about something that I actually have merchandise for. Because today I'm sitting over here and I'm like, okay, so it's Lord of the Rings. So the closest fantasy thing I have is, of course, a Gryffindor cap, a book set that I've never actually read, and I'm ashamed about that. And I do have a ring wraith, I have a ring wraith, but like his sword is all like bent and warped and this and that, and I don't like the message it is sending about me and my collection. So it's like I mean, we should have straight sword up here. We really should have straight sword, But so what are the thoughts? What should we be discussing? We'll open it up to the comments as well. Let's just see over here on Twitch. Let's get some ideas that people have. Mike, what do you think we should discuss next month?
Oh, I'm up for whatever. I mean, I always love the sword and sorcery stuff. So if you guys wanted to do like, a trip down, like, something maybe D&D, or maybe, or we can go in a different direction altogether. I'm honestly easy. I just like hanging out with you guys, so I don't really care what.
Yeah, it's super dope.
I'm up for whatever, like whatever you guys are into. I mean, I would, I don't know.
I'm cool with that too. We can always go like old school cartoon kind of things. And...
Yeah.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, dude, let's do that.
Old school cartoons, yeah.
I sent a drawing of the thing through the chat. I was gonna see if Stefan had seen that. When I saw his sculpture of the Thing costume with the Roytan cigar, I was like, oh, I have to show him this. But I don't know.
I want to see now. Yeah. Well, you know what? We're probably gonna exchange after that on Messenger chat, and I would love to.
I'd love to see as well.
Okay, so we'll get Quizmaster Cal on that. Jack's cosplay is saying that all the pieces are breathtaking, but I think that they would have wanted that in the Keanu voice, so it's breathtaking. And I see that Percy Jackson. Okay, this is a suggestion. Percy Jackson, Greek mythology would be a cool topic. So we have a call for so Greek mythology. That's looking good. That's looking good over there. We have I really love the idea about classic cartoons, but now when we're saying classic, right, can we do it like maybe like 80s cartoons or 90s cartoons, so then I'll at least know like more or less what's going on with them, because the second we start talking about the things before that, it's a little bit sketchy, it's a little bit sketchy. So what if okay, look, I don't know why I'm even bothering, because Patty's just gonna come with something gangster anyway, but for what maybe. So I have the illusion of control, right? What we are going to do is we are going to ask the fans, we'll ask the guys from Comic-Con to throw up a poll at some point in the week or two before the next session. And we'll get the fans now to give us some ideas. Is everyone okay with that?
Yeah, I'm down with that.
Okay, so we have roughly, yes?
Classic cartoons, we're talking about like the Rambo animated, the Chuck Norris cartoon, that kind of stuff.
I think it's whatever you want, really, right?
MC Hammer.
Cartoon.
There's
anything before 2000. I would say anything before 2000.
Yeah, that's good.
Lord of the Rings cartoon.
Oh, that's great, because then Batman animated falls under it.
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm totally gonna do the really crappy
the rotoscope one.
Dungeons and Dragons cartoon.
Yeah,
Captain Planet.
Oh yeah.
You take the Captain Planet. Captain Planet is not just a cartoon; it is a way of life. You take that. We're bringing the mullet back, people. We're bringing the mullet back. Wait. Is it pronounced mullet or is it also French for moulet? Because it could be French for moulet. Take pollution down to zero. Guys, you know what we should do?
Wow.
You know what we should do? We should totally take a moment to say, whoa, Nate, that is incredible. But how do you guys feel about closing out with a song?
What a hard pass.
You're the only one singing.
Yeah.
Daniel, you're breaking my heart there. Don't go breaking my heart, man. Don't go breaking my heart.
Don't go breaking my heart.
I find that that karaoke is way bigger everywhere but the US.
I don't know.
You know what?
I don't know. There's a few comic book artists that are into.
I'm not crying. It's fine. I'll take it in heart and I will turn it into art. It is fine. because that's what this is all about. But anyway, with that being said, my friends out there, thank you so much for joining us, and to all of our guests, you guys have been simply stellar. Thank you for taking this time out to hang out with your South African fans, and to all of our viewers, I realize that there's time differences and all of that stuff. So everyone, whenever you are catching the stream or the posted version of it, please be sure to let us have your comments, like, share, subscribe, follow, do all of that crazy stuff. It helps everyone over here. Once again, and more importantly, absolutely critical, just remember that we are in the midst of a global pandemic, and as a result of that, work is difficult for everyone. So if we can show support to our creators, our artists, our writers, everyone in the creative sphere, as it were, this is the time to show love, show support, and you can do it. If you aren't able to necessarily buy because you're broke, that's okay. But you can help also by sharing the message, sharing the work. It will help. Every little bit counts. And guys, are there any closing thoughts, any parting thoughts, or parting shots rather?
Thanks everybody for watching.
You nailed it.
Let's all go grab second breakfast now.
Second breakfast.
Hey, you're always awesome, man.
Huzzah, huzzah. Okay, make it so. May it be when breakfast comes, you have your second one too. That was a reference to Enya, who did the Lord of the Rings theme song. Yes, that's right, Daniel Gova. I know something about Lord of the Rings.
Oh my.
Guys, thank you all for watching. Thank you guys for tuning in. You've been amazing. And details for our next session will come.